The AFL would be absolutely thrilled with the weekend's results. 3 Vic teams still in the running. There was 3 at the start of the finals, and there's 3 in the final 4. This is Two Loose Cannons. Don't know what the hell that is. I'm Liam.
I'm Ross.
Oh, there he is. So, what are you cheerful about? Eh?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The girls won on the weekend. That's why the flag was out, because the Port Adelaide girls beat Melbourne, who were undefeated this year.
Yeah, that was
a good
major upset.
Yeah, major upset. It was.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the Crows women too, because beat the unbeaten Hawks in the women's golf.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the men's, because they certainly didn't beat the men's. But yeah, what do you call it? I heard the talk about that, and it's such good thing for women's sports that it was talked about on a national program, the Offsiders.
It was, yes.
Last night. So
yeah, so very happy with the girls. They only won the 2 for the year, but
trending in the right direction. And there is improvement in that side. That side's going to grow. There's still a showdown to come. There's probably
and it's late this year too. It's like around 9 or 10, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around about there, where normally they play at first.
Well, given the way there's 2 sides have started this year, it might not be a bad thing.
No, might not be.
They're both growing into the season,
and it could be for a spot in the 8, given that time of year. So it could be a very interesting day.
All right, let's peel the Band-Aid off here.
You suck it up, and I'll correct you as you.
Oh, you know where I'm going. The flu. Who had the flu and took 2-3 weeks to get over it this year?
You did.
You too. Yeah, look, it's not an excuse, because I haven't heard anyone within the Crows use that as an excuse. And Dawson was out in front of the media today. Apparently he's got an injured foot. He's off for surgery, but he refused to use that as an excuse. So what I love about the Crows is they've owned their losses and said they weren't good enough. But as a supporter, I can sit here and go, the flu. After we went off air last week, we found out that the Crows had the flu. Collingwood, 12 players down. And then over the weekend, a few other players went down with flu. And then we had more players go down throughout the week with the flu. Not saying that that's the reason why they didn't win both games. And if they didn't have the flu, still might have got done. They were flat. They were dead going into the finals. Probably were going to lose. Although, probably, the more I think about it, we probably could have beaten Collingwood and then went out, got dumped out in the prelim. Whoever got up, turns out it's Brisbane. Brisbane probably would have beaten us.
Would have beaten Brisbane,
So, yeah, look, as a supporter, I accepted the loss after I heard the flu. And from what I saw Friday night, there was a lot of chasing that the Crows did that I noticed a couple of their players pulled up short, and I thought, okay, that's not good. That's a sign that they don't have the lung capacity to go with their opponents. And also on such an intelligent side and such a hard running side, they get out wide and they exploit you. And we just couldn't go with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I'm singing a bit of an excuse, but again, what can you do? It's bad luck, bad timing, and whether or not we would have got through, who knows?
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, after watching what I've watched, I don't think even if they had the flu, they'll make in the grand final. And look, I've lots to be salty about. I've got grand final tickets. The Crows actually gave me grand final tickets. I could have been there. I could have watched them if they got through. But I'm not negative. I understand where they've come from. To get to first this year, I'm happy with that. And they played 2 finals, lost them both. But as they've said and they've owned it, it's learnings. It's absolute learnings. And all the things that people have been questioning, you've questioned the forward line, did the 3 tolls work? Didn't in the finals. So listening to Nix's post-match after the Hawks game, he pretty much identified speed.
No.
He's been coming out of that forward line.
For me, and I copped a bit, as you well know, you saw the comments, I copped a bit for suggesting that your form going into the finals was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had fears that you didn't have another gear. Now, of course, at this point, we didn't know about the flu or any of that sort of stuff. You're right. We just don't know what would have happened had that not occurred. But look, at the end of it, your form going in, and I think they had a lot of people thinking, but it is a long season.
Yeah.
You have that week off, you freshen up.
That's what I was hoping for. That's what I was hoping would happen. But
the ranking thing doesn't help you, but teams lose players. Look at Lockie Neal. He went out.
Yeah. And so, not just Lockie Neal. They've got several key Hawks Lincoln McCarthy, who's very important to him when
Wood's gone. So, you know, they've got pieces missing as well. So, you know, you find good teams find a way.
Yeah.
So that was always my concern. And as you well know, I copped it because I said that I don't think he had another gear. Now, we're never going to know because there will always be that thing about the flu hanging over the top.
I don't think if they were fully fit, they're not losing 8 straight quarters. I think they'd pinch a quarter here, a quarter there. So, yeah, well, that's what I can draw out of it.
And what I said to you going into that game, that I had, if you could get close to Hawthorn, especially the way that GWS ran down a 7-goal lead, that you could be a chance.
Yeah. And
I thought that. And then when they kicked 3 ahead and my partner was getting all jittery and, oh my God, we're going to get smashed, just take it. As it repeated what I just said to you about how Hawthorn tend to have that lapse and let teams back in. And they did. They let you back in.
Yeah.
And had they not kicked that last goal in that first quarter, you know, pretty much even. But from then on, it was all like traffic. Yeah.
In fact, that second half, they were just running over the bus. And I sat there and I wasn't disappointed. It just felt inevitable that was going to happen.
Yeah. And I think the conversation that Friday, because obviously every Friday we have boys catch up and we have a few drinks and we talk about it. There was a lot of guys, close supporters who were really, really concerned about that game.
Yeah.
And most of them said they thought we would lose. So now whether that's just getting ready for the disappointment, building the saying, you know, I think we'll lose, and therefore if you do lose that, that doesn't help.
No,
it doesn't dampen the disappointment. It doesn't anyway.
I tipped on the podcast earlier. Yeah. Just before we found out that the Crows would win. And again, if fully fit Crows, I'd back them in to win. I don't think it's a case of finals jitters. It's just, it is what it is. It's, you know,
look, I not done. And I said to you many, many weeks ago, probably 12 weeks ago, that I thought Walker was a liability to you. Now, he's just done what, and he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. He'll go down as a legend at your club. Yeah. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Fantastic player. I would have loved if he had his career at our club. Right? But he was, and you could see it. He's no good. He's got no pace anymore. That long kick's gone. He's no good below his knees. Goals he was normally kicking, going back last year, he was missing. He didn't make distance from 45, one of the kicks.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, what do? Do you keep him on for another year in case something happens to Tilthorpe or Fogarty, or do you just say, come on, Tex, I think it's time to go? That's an interesting conversation.
And would he be willing to take a step back?
I'm thinking, well, we sort of discussed this, didn't we, about whether or not he would, if he did retire, would he play SANFL? And so that becomes a very interesting discussion, because if they do say to him, Tex, we want you to go around again, but we can't guarantee you a game in the seniors, you know, I don't know. Would he be happy just to go down and play SANFL for the Crows and get pulled up every now and then? The other thing is I always go back to, and I've said this so many times, about what Matt Rendell said. If they're on your list, you feel honoured to play them. And they get played ahead of kids who need to develop. And if he's on that list and you're thinking, I've got an unknown quantity and I've got Tex Walker, you're always going to go with Tex, because at least you know what you're getting with Tex. And I think it does stifle some of your kids coming.
It does. If they can sort of be, I guess, ruthless in a sense that keep them on the list as a depth player.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Tyler Welsh down in the sample who's struggling. That's an elite talent kid who dominated underage football, and he hasn't made that step up.
The transition, but forwards take longer.
Yeah, they do. But he's gone completely off the radar. Where it's not unusual to check the full-time stats. He's only had 3 touches per game. That's not good enough. That if he was playing for a sample club, he's not playing first level football. He's playing reserves. Yeah. Maybe even drop from the reserves is that bad. So I wouldn't mind him taking that role on. And then if potentially, like you said, if Fogarty goes down, I'm not sure if he would come in for a Thilthorpe, because I think maybe Toby Murray might cover that sort of role. But I would be happy for him to do that. Yeah. And then he's not being exposed on a weekly basis at a level which has gone past him because of this feat.
Yeah. So what do you do, given that you've got Gallant couldn't play because he was injured? You've got, you know, I mean, it becomes an interesting conversation about what you do with Tex, because you've got 3 of them basically. You've got Smith, you've got Tex, and we know that Crouch is gone. He's already said he's gone. So, do you offer Smith another? I mean, I didn't think Smith was all that bad. I thought he was quite handy at the towards the end.
He was, but that told
So,
him very
I reckon
clearly
that.
that, yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
And from what I saw on the vision, and I did hear some commentary, note that he went over to family friends and was quite distraught afterwards. So I think
that's it.
They've had that conversation already, and that was it.
Well, look, they said the exit meetings will be happening tomorrow and Thursday. So
the disappointing thing is, both those guys, I feel, aren't playing well. Smith and Walker.
Yeah,
they haven't had. Well, it's their own faults in a way because we haven't been able to celebrate them. We couldn't, give them
what they asked it before.
Yeah. Now, I know Tex had his 300th a week or so ago, and it was all about Tex, but
it was all about his kid and Nick Dacos, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think they got more media than what Tex did.
Well, it did, yeah.
So,
God, and what a non-story, eh?
Oh, I'd love to see, what's his name? Kid? I'd love to see him go back to Collingwood over.
How's he going to do that, though? Manipulate the draft?
Because by that time, mate, he'll spend a couple of years on the list rotting away at Adelaide and Collingwood will come. And Nick Dacos will be the coach of that team, so get him over.
It doesn't look like a coaching sort.
No, it was just, to me, that's just funny. They're cheering your father off and he's standing there in a Collingwood.
Yeah.
That just must have been, I don't know.
They all see the funny side to me.
Well,
and look,
he's a kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Nick Dacos has been on class towards the Walkers and has embraced Taylor Walker as family.
that goes with Gibbs being cheered off in his final game by Carlton players.
Yeah.
Like in a Crows Guernsey, seeing two Carlton players cheering Price Gibbs off, it just goes right up there. We've seen Walker's kid wearing a Collingwood Guernsey at the end of his 300. So,
Yeah, well, there's always bizarre things at Adelaide. But look, I just want to touch on, I'm not sure if we really want to go in too much depth to that game because it's all Hawks.
No, I'd like to go into depth. Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not wasting time.
Let's talk about the choke. Let's talk.
Okay, yeah. I'm happy
to
speak.
You wanted to talk about the choke.
So, I don't believe it was a choke. This year of all years, it's not a choke. Sure, they finished first. Sure, they got knocked out by the 8th team. But everybody knows, anybody who watches a Skerrick and football and has watched for some length of time can tell you, this year's top 8, and it was the way it played out as well. Anybody could beat anybody. We only sealed our final spot 3-4 rounds out. And we only secured the minor premiership 2 rounds out from the season finishing. So it was such a level competition. And you could have potentially, because the Bulldogs got their shit together at the end and beat a finals team towards the end, they could beat someone in the 8. Anybody in that 8 could beat anybody at any given time, anywhere, except the Crows who run out of juice. So I don't see it as a choke.
So put the shoe on the other foot.
Yeah.
And if that had been Port, I would still be getting messages. I would still be copying it.
Not from me.
They'd be bending me over chairs at the moment and no lube would be involved. You guys are so soft and you make up so many excuses for your team. If this was Port, I guarantee you every single Crow supporter watching this would be going as hard as they could, doing this, talking about, they wouldn't have taken any flu as an excuse. They would crap that you're putting up forward. Then it'd just be choke. Front page of the Advertiser would have first number 1 team to ever lose to a number 8. First team in the modern 8 era to go out.
Have we not heard enough about it already, though?
Forget about 83.
We've heard that every
That was the top 5 in 83.
Yeah.
This is a top 8. You're the first team to go out in straight sets as the number 1 seed. You're the first team to lose to an 8
But
seed.
who's honestly surprised, though? Because we've had...
This one should be relevant, mate. Don't talk about
it's not relevant.
This was Port. You'd be pumping it. You'd be out there. Oh, you guys...
Take your bloody guys look, okay, shove it right up your blackers.
You guys know it too. The Crocodiles front page, mate. It's Channel 7 front page. And 5AA
does a newspaper now.
5AA would be all over it, mate. Oh, your worst enemy is Rowie. He's your biggest supporter, but he's your worst enemy because he fluffs you guys up. Oh, it'll be all right. There's positives. He's a wanker. And he just gives it every year. He makes you feel like you can win the premiership. And then you get so disappointed when you can. And everybody rang up tonight, and you heard it. There were people ringing up Rowie tonight saying, shut up, Rowie. We're sick of hearing from you. You always go the positive, and you're always wrong. You always get us up, and then we always feel low because you got us up.
I heard his spot this morning. He blamed Craig Munn for pushing him. He said that the station manager is pushing him to be parochial because that's what they want to hear. Because it creates headlines.
If they know, because if the Crows listeners leave that station, they're dead.
Yeah, and
there's no one left, mate.
Supposedly, every old person in the state is a Crows supporter.
They are. Yeah, I can guarantee you, there's no Port supporters. They're all watching. They're all listening to CNN. SCN.
Yeah, so
every one of them is listening to SCN.
Take him out of it for a second. We're talking about a team that we've.
I'm just saying, you're so soft on it, man.
No,
if this had been Port, you would have been all over it. You'd be screaming, choking, screaming this.
Missed the finals 8 years in a row, and you emerged with the young list, and you got to top spot, and then in a year like this, where 8th team could easily be top 4, we know that. You'd get the same pass. I would give you the same pass, and I'm fair when it comes to Port. I don't put the hatchet in. I know. But forget everyone else. Let's just talk about what we're seeing, how we see things. Because I seriously had doubts. Did we speak about it on air?
You know how long ago I had doubts? I had doubts 7 weeks ago.
Yeah, we've said that for a while. But all year we've had, as Crows supporters, people tell us you draw soft. You're the worst number 1 team in the competition's history. This is before we've even entered the finals because of our supposed soft draw. And yet those same people are now spinning the choke tank. Now, that doesn't sit right with me when they're the ones telling us that we're the weakest first team in competition history. Well, all it did is confirm what they thought. That's not, as far as I'm concerned, that's not a choke. Maybe we were overinflated. Tim Silvers was on the radio and he said that we were finished. He thought where we were 5 or 6.
He said 5 or 6. Yeah.
So I'm happy to accept that. They've had their 2 games finals experience. It didn't go their way. They're going to improve. They've seen the flaws in their list. They know what they've got to do. Midfield clearing, speed in the forward line.
I'll tell you from experience. Don't expect it to happen next year.
No,
you guys are going to work your asses off.
Yes, and they know that now.
To where you need to.
They know that. That Sydney miss that cost us the spot in the finals. That was a mini kick up the bum for them to realise. And then what happened the following year? Because they thought they'd just rock up and make it.
Thought they would make, and so did your supporters. So did your supporters. They were just going to rock in, make the finals next year, and you finish 14th or 12th, 14th.
But given that they got beaten so soundly, they didn't get to take a quarter off an opposition off the final side. That has to sting. They have to that has to burn. That has to.
No, it's got to be, because some of the questions were, and they spoke to, and we'll touch on this later. But I remember Corn saying, and who was the other one? Nick Rewalt saying that after bad losses in grand finals, they never recovered. It was really hard to recover. And he was talking, obviously, Cornsy's talking about 07, and Rewalt was talking about the back-to-back grand final losses in 10, was it? 10? And how they found it really hard to recover from that and get back in there. So this will be, and of course, we've seen other teams. We saw what happened to Sydney. I saw what happened to GWS. We've seen other teams that have been, and then we saw what happened to you after 17. So this would be an interesting watch. You didn't.
So where I'm comfortable with this sitting is we've got Murray Davis from Brisbane. Now, Murray Davis lived through the entire rebuild of Brisbane. And he there's an article on the Crows website today talking about how it, and I spoke about this on my Facebook page on Saturday morning, that the Crows rebuild currently sits where Brisbane's rebuild was at. So Brisbane had years of mediocrity, and they shot from 16th or 15th up to 2nd, and they got booted straight sets in their first finals appearance. This is eerily similar to how Brisbane's. Now, where I'm not so comfortable is if they get comfortable thinking, okay, if we're following, if this is Brisbane's path, it's going to happen.
This is, see, that you had such a good, like, your injuries this year were very, very good. What'd you have? Seriously, you might have had 3 to 4. 5.
But I don't have a problem with the Crows' depth, because right now I look at the watch.
I'm not saying this would be a very interesting watch.
Yes, they won't be first next year.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll all go your way next year. No, so
I'd be happy squeezing in the finals at 8th next year. That sounds ridiculous because they've just finished first. But if they finish 8th, I'll take it.
But you're going to have a tougher draw.
Yeah, we're going to have a tougher draw.
That's the number one thing. Yeah. So your draw is not going to be. And look, because you finished where you did last year, which was 15th, you've got to have that easy draw.
Yeah.
You just have to.
You do.
right?
Nobody, no,
So-
again, the AFL could have put that draw together again and gone, yeah, look, the Crows will probably finish around about 8th, 9th, 10th. There's no way knowing that they were going to have a year where they broke out like that. Nobody knew that. The most optimistic Crows supporter would have predicted that.
Not first.
No.
I think everybody had you come rising and positively making gains.
We did. We backed them for the
That's
finals
right.
in
From
the
the
early
start.
show. Yeah. Even beyond, like I remember you said over the preseason,
That you would take.
you won't miss this year.
And that had to do with your jaw and with your development.
Yeah.
So I
So
believed you wouldn't miss.
yeah, where they sit now, I'm very, very comfortable, and I'm not going to cry about it. I'm happy with the year they had. I don't know what you think from a neutral perspective.
Look, I'd be very happy with Yeoman away.
Yeah.
For the reasons you said about the finals, I mean, look, the writing, I still think the writing was on the wall that 4 weeks leading into the finals. And I said to you, I don't know if you've got that second gear. I've said it, and you can go back, you can have a look.
Yeah, you did.
Numerous times. Now, it's interesting that we have this flu sort of muddying the waters, but I said to you earlier that never affected Michael Jordan. He had his best game of his life with the flu. So I don't see why you guys couldn't stack up.
Basketball's a different game, mate. You already know that. God.
Yeah.
It's not as fast paced as what AFL is. Plus, God, he was playing against semi-professionals. Oh, someone's going to shoot me now for that.
Let's move on.
Do you want to move on?
Well, make it quick. What do you think of the Brisbane Gold Coast game? So I thought I was very disappointed with that game, to be honest.
I didn't watch it.
Okay, well,
my football was done Friday night.
Close for maybe a quarter and a half, and then Brisbane just bang.
Yeah, I did. Look, the only thing I did was check the scores.
Yeah.
Just and yeah, you're right. It was close, and then went, okay, yeah, that's what.
Yeah. And then they just kicked away. It was just, I don't know whether the travel back from Perth or the occasion got them, but they seemed to be up for the fight in that first quarter and a half, Gold Coast, and then Brisbane just overpowered them and just kicked away. And yeah, I was disappointed because most of the people, I was at my brother-in-law's 80th, and we were watching, and almost everybody was back at Gold Coast. They wanted Gold Coast to win. So, but from a neutral perspective, it was what we expected. We both tipped Brisbane. We both thought they'd bounce back. So I wasn't shocked, but I was somewhat surprised in how easily
they disposed it.
They disposed it. Yeah. So I don't think there's much else to add.
I can't really add anything to that.
So let's get to the golden team of the AFL.
Everyone's favourite team in the AFL.
So what did you make of Chris Scott and Bailey Smith having those
bizarre
quarters?
Absolutely bizarre. This is a side that should be very comfortable with where they sit. They should be on top of the ball. They shouldn't be feeling any pressure, but they obviously are, because that's the only thing. The only way I could put this down is that they're feeling enormous amounts of pressure to get the job done this weekend. I'd like to say maybe it's the coach rubbing off on the player rubbing off on the coach. Maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe they're rubbing each other off.
But, at the end of the day, they've turned virtually all neutral people against them.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Brisbane knock them off. Not Brisbane. Hawthorn knock them off.
So do I, no?
Because of the way they acted.
And the thing, everyone thinks Hawks are arrogant. So that's saying something about how Geelong at the moment.
Chris Scott, it's for him to go off at a visually impaired reporter because they had their support worker with him in the press conference. That just, I don't even know what he was thinking. Like, what sort of world are you living in where someone who has a visual impairment cops your wrath? And then there was an AFL, who was she? She was someone from the AFL press.
Yeah, like a photographer.
Press, and he went off at her and got angry with her as well. Then Bailey Smith went off at some guy in the stands.
Yeah.
Again, what's going on? Why isn't the AFL stepping in and doing something about it? They're just allowing it.
It's a love child.
Yeah, it's wrong, man.
Yeah,
and it's not because it's Geelong. If that had been anybody, we both come from that field of.
Let's say, yeah.
That's just
not
disgusting.
It's not on. If that was poor, you guys would have been smashed.
Oh, we would have been ruined.
We would have been smashed. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. The more we think about it, the more it gets you angry. Actually. Yeah.
So
get stuffed, Geelong.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And go the Hawks.
Yeah.
So I think the next one will be an interesting test. Rate Adelaide's year.
Yep. A bit like what we did,
including finals. So overall.
Yeah. Overall?
From round 1 to the second.
Oh God, you're setting me up here because I'm going to give him an 8. I don't care the fact that they bombed out in the finals. They got their feedback, and what they do with that feedback, I can retrospectively downgrade it. But if they roll out with the same principles, the same ideas next year, then I'll downgrade it to a B minus. But if they learn from their lessons, this is an A year for them.
Yeah, I'm going to surprise you. I'll give them a B plus.
That doesn't
now. I would have given for the season itself, not finals. They got an A double plus easily.
Yeah. Before we touch on GWS as well, someone that's integral to SNFL Port and the Crows, really the Crows, Max Bashir, passing away today. Well, overnight, age of 98. And he was instrumental in getting the Crows in and keeping you out. And he's the reason why they're still around today. The SNFL's still around today.
Okay. So, GWS? From me to go?
No. D plus.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to go C minus.
Considering everyone had them, I wasn't one of them, but every expert, you had to look at the experts at the start of the year. I think Kane Corns had them winning it, amongst others. Sorry to target Kane there, but that one stands out in mind. Yeah, they were nowhere to be seen this year. They were so flaky at times.
They were. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So I feel like they underperformed.
Hard to tip.
Yeah,
very. But I think C minus for me. Because my expectation of them, especially after the way they went out last year with those two big losses to Sydney and Brisbane, I wasn't sure they'd rebound. And there was times when you looked at the way they were playing and you thought, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
But somehow they found a way to just win enough games to get there.
Yeah.
They hit the finals and then, to get bounced out by. And look, Hawthorn aren't going to be, Hawthorn are now playing the final. So, it's not like they lost to the Gold Coast.
Well, on their given day, they can beat Geelong down in Geelong, but then lose on their home day.
That's right. That's right.
So how the hell does that happen?
It's mindset.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So Gold Coast.
I don't like Gold Coast, but I'll give him a B minus.
Okay. I was going to say B.
Yeah.
I think the expectation was finals. To win one, I would have gone. I think that's pretty significant for them. To have actually won a game is pretty good. And to go over to WA and win a game, which is probably the hardest trip.
They could have been in such a better position. Games they dropped. Your game.
They dropped our game. They dropped the game to, they lost that home game to GWS.
Yeah.
They put themselves under a lot of pressure towards the end of the year to win that game against Essendon.
I did.
But then to do that and then back up, 9 days later against Freo in Perth, I thought was significant that they got their first win. And I think they could build on something there. I don't know if they'll ever be premiership favourites.
Kane has them winning multiple premierships.
Well, Kane, we'll talk about Kane. We'll talk about the Corns soon. But
yes.
Yeah. What about Freo?
D plus.
Okay, I'm with you, D.
Yeah. That for a side that was touted as top 4, pushing top 2, never came, did they?
Well, it was the year that they just messed around. I think they just,
even when they won, they weren't convincing.
That's right.
We spoke about it when they were on that 9-game winning streak, and everyone's going, give them some credit. But I failed to give them any credit.
Yeah, they didn't build confidence, did they?
No.
But then I thought, honestly, they would smash the Gold Coast and just roll on through.
Yeah.
That game plan of theirs, I had no idea what you just would run and gun from the start. And then back yourself defensively.
Yeah.
So
you're 100% right. When they played free, and they played free against the Crows earlier this year, when the pressure was all on, they were unstoppable. And yet they still revert to this slow movement. Yeah.
Control the ball.
All it does is just allow oppositions to set up behind the ball and take the ball back.
Yeah. So look, it'd be interesting to me have they learned anything.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good team for you. I really do. I think that's
a team
that possibly could be a top 6 side for years to come, like consecutive years.
Mm-hmm.
But if they keep playing this style, they're not going to go anywhere.
And with West Coast down in absolute doldrums, they're going to get they're going to get most WA free agents that want to come home or
that's right.
looking to come home. So they could become the destination side for a little while.
That's right.
until the Eagles can sort their shit out.
Especially if the Eagles are going to start spending big dollars on players like Harley Reid just to keep him there. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Couldn't pay me all the money in the world to play for them at the moment.
you'd love to play. Don't you?
Get out of here.
Lies.
That's one place I would.
They come knocking on your door. You'd be putting your West Coast
Absolutely
Guernsey
not.
on,
Absolutely not.
saying, "Put me in, coach. I'm ready."
Isn't it funny? You've got the Eagles in America, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. Big win over Kansas in the weekend.
Kansas to 0-2.
Yeah. Both good. At both times they were in it too.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is.
She should stay away.
Exciting, mate.
Yeah, well, again, you're going to show up against Philadelphia fans after what they did at the Super Bowl. Yeah, so you've got Eagles flying high in America, and down here that they're
flying low,
mate. They're flying in the silos.
Their sips are down.
Yeah, they live in the silos here.
All right, let's move on to my favourite topic of Mr. Toothless for Shelley.
Oh,
what did you make?
What
did you make of his antics before the game, during the game? And why didn't they start it? I thought you needed that burst of someone who would just give you that energy. I thought I just don't understand why he started this up. Now you could say, oh, well, he's had whatever. What do you have off? 15, whatever. 12 weeks, 15 weeks off. You could say that.
Yeah.
But look, I just thought you could sub him out. I would have just started him and just said, mate, go out there and just spend all your fuel tickets. Let's get the energy out there, kick us a couple, get around the boys, and then we'll sub you out.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But to bring him in late when the game was over just was pointless to me.
Look, I had no problems with how it played out. And he did his job. So his antics, and I know it was Kane Corns that called him out and started this with the fake beard walking in with Riley Thilthorpe. Look, a lot of people don't know, but Rochelle and Thilthorpe are best mates. And while Rochelle was out injured, he grew his beard long. Obviously, he couldn't tolerate keeping it long because I noticed a week or so ago it disappeared. So there's a little bit of in-house banter. As far as because Corns called it out, it's making it all about him. Who gives a crap? Like, he's walking into the ground. Now, the cameras are going to be on him anyway. It's his first game back. Who gives a shit? Really? A little bit of fun. At least he's not showing up in some of the drip that some of the NBA players wear. I mean, and Kane does follow the NBA a bit in American sports. How does he go watching that?
How did we go watching it? I think it is some of the stuff.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
I agree with you.
So that's nothing. He's in a club kit. He's just put on a stupid beard.
Yeah. For me, that wasn't the issue. The way he celebrated after the goals when he was significantly down. It was like he put you in front. Now, that's the energy I was talking about. And if he could have given you that in the first or second quarter, earlier the third, who knows? Perhaps you might not. But yeah, look, the big thing, who cares, mate? I don't even know why it was even highlighted. Seriously.
There honestly wasn't anything else to talk about.
But as far as the Corns goes, he said from the beginning of the year that there was no way the 3 tall forwards was going to work. And he copped it. And at the end of the year, even he said, I kept receipts. And he called it out. He said it didn't work. And then your coach came out. Yeah. If you Knicks came out and said, yeah, in hindsight, it didn't work, but we had to try it.
Yeah. And so, I don't know if, it probably wouldn't have worked the deeper we got. It might have worked 1 or 2 games, but doesn't count for nothing.
I get him. You know my thoughts on Walker. I said him earlier.
But he looked so good against Collingwood and then produced that.
That's right. And he will. And he'll give you
a 9 and 8 day break.
But there's his 300s. You get up for those sort of things. You look at Boki. Boki looked like a 20-year-old running around in that last game. Yeah. But you can do that for one game because there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, of course.
Your 300 game, of course you want to go out there. You don't want to be you want to be in the top 3, 4, 5 on the ground in milestone games, especially if they're your own.
Yeah.
So that didn't shock me. He had a great game in his 300. But I called that out 12 weeks ago. Like I said to you, to me, he was a liability to that side and you needed to move past him. Now, whether or not they do is up to them. But the guy's a legend. Trust me, he'll go down in the Crows legends. He'll be a Hall of Famer.
It's going to be hard.
Again, I would have loved him at my club, but you've got to start moving forward. Otherwise, you're just staying at the same spot.
He's light years ahead of anyone in this showdown goal tally. That staggers me. I think he finished on 55, 50. That's if he is finished, 55, 56. Next closest is I think Robbie Gray with about 40.
Yeah, 42, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So look, but look, you saw the footage of Kane giving it to the Crows supporter because he reckons the Crows supporter gave it to him.
Mm.
You said it was unprofessional. I thought, well, give as good as you get, mate. And even Dwayne Russell in the box was saying that the Crows supporter just
I was saying if I was sitting in the general direction and if I had a meat pie in my hand, it would be fine. His general direction.
Yeah,
And with that window open.
You know, so, and we've seen that before. He's not the first bloke to be yelling outside of his commentary box at some supporter who came to him. I've seen it with Rexham. We saw it with a couple of others.
Yeah.
We've seen coaches do it, you know, like Frawley was, you know, when he was coaching Richmond famously did it.
Mm.
So, you know, look, but if you give it, you got to expect to take it. I also shared a video with you with the fight on the hill with the Crows supporter and the Hawthorn player and the Hawthorn supporters. So you weren't a happy bunch.
No.
But this was early. That fight happened in the first quarter when you guys were like 2 goals down.
Yeah.
And he'd already given up. Like he hadn't even got 7 minutes into the game and he was already blowing with Hawthorn supporters. So, you know.
Yeah, alcohol and football just doesn't mix.
Again. So, look, I mean, as far as those two go, Wilbur Corns, he's going to tick a lot of people off. And Michelle, play your game. As much as it irks me to say that, if you're not yourself, you're probably going to regress.
Yeah.
So
that was a hell of a goal, that soccer goal. I was talking to someone about it. Yeah, it's his background, but we're talking about an over ball from an angle, and that ball didn't deviate. Yeah. It just went. I thought that was going to come off its line, did you? Sweet stripe.
So tell me, I heard a rumour, and I don't know if you've heard this rumour, I heard a rumour that about round 14, 15, the Crows were practicing a grand final handshake.
No, you didn't hear that from me.
I didn't hear that from you.
No.
And I heard that they were doing all sorts of...
Maybe they were.
And someone said, what are they doing? A reporter, I think it was. Someone said, what are they doing? And whoever the official for the Crows was said, they're practicing a grand final handshake.
Yeah, look.
You don't find that much arrogant in round 14, round 12, round 13,
absolutely
round 14?
not. Absolutely
not at all.
If it helps build belief, I believe go with it.
Yep.
Dare to dream. Yep. And if you don't, then if they're not thinking about one day playing in a grand final, and
well, they've got 12 months to perfect that.
Yeah, well, they do. They do. But you know, the best sides have a bit of arrogance now.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So I don't mind it.
But you also got to have a bit of mungle too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the best sides. The Richmonds, the Hawks, the unsociable Hawks.
That's to come. That's to come. And again, I believe that some of them have it. This
is why I believe in Josh Carr, because he will give him that mongrel edge.
Yeah.
He's a hard work top.
But recruiting from the bin is not going to help you.
It doesn't matter, mate. He's looking for role. I said this to you. He's looking.
I know what you mean.
Players.
I know what you mean.
He doesn't want superstars, mate. He wants guys who will play a role. He's got a system, and that system is determined not by superstars, but by guys who play
you've still got to hit targets.
I understand that. Football. And they will work on it. I guarantee you, mate, this will be a totally different Port Adelaide team.
Oh, look,
this will be a mungle, even under, niggle.
Well, they say that teams built in a coach's image, and we all know how Carr played.
Yeah, that's insane. You saw how hard, and him and Hardwick were from the same mould.
Yeah.
When they played for Port, they were the two guys who got out there and they got under the opposition's skin, and they just absolutely, what happened at the Cairns game.
But I mean, I'll counteract that by saying he's been in charge of your midfield. Your midfield's gone backwards, and that's nothing to do with. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not just injuries. When all the pieces are there, it's not working. It's not working.
When all the pieces are there, you look at that game against, who was it, Freo, where they kicked 8 straight in that second quarter after they were down, mate. That team is soft because of the Ken coaching. It wasn't soft because of Carr's.
Yeah, but it's also flawed. You don't have your kick back.
Well, look, I'm about to find out.
Yeah, I know, but the likes of Jake Webb. What are you doing going with players like Jacob Webb?
Because he's easy to get and he's not going to cost you a sec. Guarantee you.
Well, then you get those sort of blokes from the sample, though. That's what I'm saying. Those sort of blokes you can get to the sample.
Wait and see, mate. He's got a plan and he has a system that doesn't rely on guys being superstars. move on to your prelim tips.
Yeah. So prelim. Who's
Geelong-
the first one?
Geelong-
Is it Geelong?
Geelong
First?
Hawthorn. Yes, Geelong Hawthorn.
All right. Well, so we'll roll with the order.
That'll be Friday. Yeah,
Look, hopefully Hawthorn, but I think Geelong.
I'm the same. I hope it's Hawthorn, but I think Geelong.
But it's not clear cut as saying Geelong.
Yeah,
you know, it's Hawthorn are going to run them.
They were, and as we know, the Kennett curse.
Yeah,
you know what he said. So this could be very interesting because Geelong and Hawthorn, traditionally Geelong and Hawthorn finals seem to be always go Hawthorn's way.
Yeah. And this is the one year that we want it going Hawthorn's way.
What about the rumour? Did you hear the rumour that they're thinking about playing it they were going to play it at Condinia Park Rules against you guys or Brisbane. But now they're going to go.
Why would they do that?
Because they thought they might get a small crowd.
Oh,
they wanted to give him, they wanted to appease them and give him that, home ground advantage. They thought if it was an interstate club, there was a better chance that they could do that at it is ABC Stadium.
You know what? There would be a giant uproar here in Adelaide, and it would be a case of, and it's wrong. The uproar would be wrong because,
of course, it would be.
Yeah,
they deserve to be able to play at ABC Stadium.
They do, but it is compromised in the sense that it should, if it is going to be done like that, why should it be any different for Collingwood? And I know Collingwood will draw 100,000, yeah, whatever, but competition integrity, play down at Cardinia Park.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that brings us to Collingwood Brisbane.
I'm going Brisbane. I don't think Collingwood are in any sort of form. They did the job against Adelaide, but looking back at it now, was it really that impressive performance? Given Adelaide top players down with the flu again, but we were cooked, and they looked just as cooked. I mean, it was just their experience that they managed to just control the game.
Yeah, no, I don't trust Brisbane. That's the problem. So yeah, I hope it's Brisbane. I think Collingwood.
Brisbane's going to go down to the MCG with all the hope in the world because they've beaten Collingwood there.
Yeah. We said that when they played Geelong.
Yeah,
we said they would go to the MCG, would hold no fears for them. They beat Geelong
at Cardinia
Park. So we thought they'd have no fear for them, and then they ended up getting blown out. So I also think there might be a few umpiring decisions that might go a certain way for one of the teams in black and white. That might.
I'll tell you what, if Collingwood get their on board in grand final, not just Isaac Quainer, on board the whole team.
Heard any good trade rumors?
Well, Melbourne has supposedly in the exit meetings, all of a sudden they're quite comfortable trading Petrarca.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's been forced by Petrarca saying, "Yeah, I want out again," but that marriage between Melbourne and Petrarca appears over. So, oh God, where's he going? Who goes?
No,
for him?
What
Hawthorn's looking for a gun midfielder.
Well, they're eyes off Butters anyway.
Well, it is.
So,
but this might be a game changer because he's gettable this year. Is Butters going to be gettable this year?
I think he will. If the right deal comes along, I cannot see Port hanging on to Zach Butters if the right deal comes along and they can move him on, then just get a compensation.
But I can imagine Carr would be doing everything he can.
He would be.
Because you're talking about that image he's trying to create. Who's the one player that you would say plays in his mold?
In his mold. It would be, absolutely. But I think if the right deal comes along, they'd be willing to move Butters on this year. But you're right, that is a game changer if Petrarca wants out, or Melbourne have said to Petrarca, we think you should look elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that became, then the dominoes fall. Maybe Oliver goes, maybe a few other players move on as well. So, that's an interesting watch. What else have you heard?
So the other one, and this was done by Fox Footy, and we talked about it just before it come on air. Who was it again? It was 2 first rounders. It was Hawthorn involved. 2 first rounders, Mitch Lewis. Who was it
for?
Oh God, I can't think. It was a gun midfielder again.
Yeah. I'm lost.
Oh God, just give me a minute.
Yeah.
All right. You heard any good rumors?
Well, Not anything of
Yeah.
that Petrarca value. No, I still hold strong, like I said about Butters, and if that right deal comes for Butters, I'll do it. I'll pull the trigger on that one. That's probably a significant trade as well.
Is there any other players other than Ware? The bloke from Will Brody
Brody
linked to Port? And
well, the only other one I've heard of is from Collingwood, Bo Cleary.
okay, Bo McCreary.
Cleary. Yeah, he toured our.
See, and he would be a good get. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He plays hard and he's super fast.
Yeah. So I know that they're interested in him. I know they're into him. I know he did tour Alberton when they Collingwood were here playing you guys before the finals. So they're probably waiting. I would suggest they're waiting for the finals to be over or Collingwood's season to end. And then they'll probably either he'll make the announcement or they'll make further advancement towards him. I guess the ball's in Collingwood's court, whether or not they trade him or not. But that's another one I've heard is Bo McCleary to Port.
Yeah.
You reckon Archie?
Yeah, from Brisbane.
Chance?
And that's largely due to the squeeze that's going on at Brisbane in terms of Allen coming in and you've got Draper coming in. But you said that Cameron may be out the door.
I reckon Cameron.
So then if that's the case, then that flips that on its head and all of a sudden frees up potentially cash to keep Archie there.
Well, I think he's got to be under significant
because they don't lose Archie and Cameron.
No, they don't. You can't afford to lose. No. But I think Cameron's gone.
Yeah.
So
there was a rumor floating around during the week that the Crows are trying to dislodge Bailey this year. Now that's going to be hard to do. We're going to have to pay heaven and earth for that.
Yeah.
So that's a watch for maybe next year as well. But the trade that we were talking about before, Mitch Lewis and 2 first-round picks, was for Zach Merritt.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is all hypothetical. This isn't linked. But if they did do that, then
big. That's a lot.
Yeah, Butters is off the table then for Hawthorn because they won't have any collateral then.
No, they won't. But
and how much are draft picks worth these days anyway? I don't think they're worth anywhere near as much as what they used to be.
No. That's a big deal for someone like Zach Merritt. That just seems extraordinary. 2 first rounders plus Lewis.
Yeah, no.
So
it is. Because we're just about done. There's one more thing. What the joke to close up. There was talk today about the same 4 teams dominating all the time. So Collingwood, Hawthorn, Brisbane, and Geelong. And is it good management, or is it now a fact that the way the drafting system is set up, it's not helping clubs down the bottom? That it brings them up to a certain level now, if they go down that drafting path. But then they're heavily reliant on hopefully turning around and bringing in some free agents to then push them up.
Retention obviously is a problem.
Yeah, because at the moment you look at the free agents, who's being linked to Merritt, who's being linked to Butters. It's the powerful clubs, the same clubs that are up the top. So it's the competition prides itself on being equal. It's far from equal at the moment.
Well, I was saying that this is the first time in 20 odd years, 18 years, something like that, that the 3 teams that won the last 3 premierships will be in the preliminary final the following year. So that just shows you. And then the Hawks. We have the Hawks again, who've won premierships in each decade since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then the 2000 teens. So they're up there again, and they could be pressuring for another decade of another premiership or 2.
Yeah.
So this becomes, like you're right. It's those 4 teams who are currently there,
and all those teams you just mentioned, they're all great at landing free agents.
Yep.
You've got bloody Draper going to Brisbane. Again, how that happens, I don't know.
It has to be lifestyle.
Yeah.
It has to be lifestyle because it's and then they are offering a fair bit of money, I guess.
But Geelong, who the hell wants to live down in Geelong?
Well, obviously they reckon it's a great place to live. It's quiet. It's you can get if you're a fisherman, you can get your fishing in. You can it's not that far from Melbourne anymore. Given the way they've done the three ways and that. It's cut back from, I think what was it used to be, about a 90-minute drive to a half an hour drive. So,
and pulling on the brown and gold, no one looked good in brown and gold. But it's just that success, isn't it? That just draws.
Well, that's what it is. And players, at the end of the day, you either chase the money or you chase the success.
Yeah.
Now, John have done it better than most.
Yeah.
Because the players they're recruiting want success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then they can do the cotton on thing with the third party payments, and there's that sort of thing. And then there's the exposure, and you can build your brand,
Hollywood should really thank their lucky stars for their father and sons. Both they cost.
Well, there's a few clubs that could think. You look at the Geelong teams of the early
Bulldogs,
yeah, they're coming through. But you look at the Geelong teams that had Scarlett and Ablett and Hawkins and so father son, and that's going to, and if the AFL has its way, all that's going to change pretty soon. Like they'll either get rid of the father son.
And you guys, I know that you guys are sweating on
that because all our guys are coming through now.
Yeah, Cochrane's son
is
number one pick.
Yep.
And they're going to rip that out.
And there's also Burgoyne's coming through. There's Sean's boys coming through, and they're all supposed to be very talented as well. So there's going to be all this crew of father sons coming through, which we either have to play through the nose for that no other team had to, or that's ever to be set on.
Yeah,
it will change because there's so many clubs screaming out for inequity, and it's the teams like St Kilda who have no one coming through. So is it our fault that your ex players didn't produce any good talent? No.
Now you're talking about excuses. There's an excuse football club, St Kilda.
Mm.
Live and die by excuses, covering their own mediocrity. Anyway, close this out. You want to say something stupid.
So the manager of the local paint store died while in Antarctica. The doctor said he could have used another coat. Thank you, Paul Torba. Good night.